Well, good evening and welcome to Beaverdale Books. We're so pleased to have Ann Schreiber here. But before we begin, I want to mention some upcoming events. Tomorrow evening, we will host children's writer Anna Zimney and her debut children's book, Judy's Birdhouse. It's a fun little story about a curious little girl and the flock of birds who bloom from her flower pot and move into her house. Then we have a musical event next week on July 9th. We are trying something different. We're going to have singer-songwriter Chip Albright, who will launch his newest CD here, and he'll have those available for purchase. Chip is also going to be joined by David Wolf, a local poet, and they're friends, and so both of them will be here and perform a few poems and tell some stories. So plan on that on July 9th, and then on July 12th we are celebrating our 19-year anniversary. Yay! So we're going to have free refreshments, we're going to have free advanced reader copies, we're going to have some buy one get one specials on select hardcovers, and we have a really fun mix and match contest called Free Sentences. I was recently at Jimmy John's and noticed that they have free smells, and so we're going to do free sentences all day long. Then we have two big ticketed events this month. Chris Whitaker, author of All the Colors of the Dark, which is a fantastic thriller, on Monday, July 14th, and sportscaster Christine Brennan with her new book about Caitlin Clark. And that'll be on Tuesday, July 15th. So you can find all those details on our website, or you can pick up a flyer like this one at the register. But now on to tonight's program. Emily's next chapter is a heartfelt romance about second chances, blending families, and finding love later in life. Like many writers, Anne began her writing career very young. During recess in elementary school, she would pen short stories in her notebook. When her family invested in their first personal computer in the mid-1980s, she taught herself to type, and she spent her free time writing fiction. Later, she held various positions with the Rosemount High School newspaper and served as editor-in-chief during her senior year. And then she became the co-editor-in-chief of the student paper at Inver Hills Community College. She received her bachelor's degree in English communications from the University of Minnesota and her master's degree in business communication from the University of St. Thomas. She has 2 adult children, and she remarried in February 2023 and is now blessed with a young stepdaughter as well. So please join me in welcoming Ann Schreiber.
That's the people we've been waiting for.
Oh,
hi, I'll hug you after.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good.
Okay, actually I gotta hug her really quick.
I have another girlfriend coming, but she's later.
Oh my gosh, so good to see you.
We'll catch up.
Okay. Yes. So yes, I am Ann Schreiber, and I came down from the Twin Cities. I was actually here for the Des Moines Book Festival last March, and when this book came out on May 20th, I'm like, I have to come, because that was one of the best book festivals I've ever been to. It really was, and I'm not just saying that because you let me come. So, as she said, I have been writing since I was a little girl, and my mom used to buy me these little notebooks. They were like this big, and they flip, and then those little pencils that you could put, you know what I'm talking about, the leads. And I would sit, because I hated recess. I liked indoor days because I could play Connect 4 and games, but I hated outdoor days, and I would sit against the brick and I would write little stories. And so my parents actually have boxes of these little notebooks that now the lead has disintegrated the paper, you can't read them, but I'm sure they were great. In any case, I decided to start writing a book a few years ago. I actually told her this. You're the only one in the room who actually knows the bad guy in this book. So Heather and I, our sons were in Boy Scouts together, and my ex-husband and your husband were troop leaders. I'm now divorced from that guy, so maybe you shouldn't read that book. But anyway, so I got divorced in 2019, and my therapist actually suggested that I write a book because she knew I'd been a writer, and I'd always wanted to write a book. Wasn't the book I planned to write, but it was very healing, and so this is my first one. Originally it was self-published, and it came out again with my publisher, Fox Point Publishing, in December. This is a memoir about going through divorce and family trauma, and showing you that you can get through these worst times, and it also works as a reflection manual for people to share their thoughts with whatever they're going through. And as we were talking about earlier, I own a copywriting business, and I started that about 2.5 years ago. And I was writing blogs about all the things I was doing wrong starting my business, and so my publisher's like, hey, you should write a book about it. So we did. And there's the book of all the blogs. So this is for anyone who's looking to get into freelance writing. But the book we're here to talk about today, Emily's Next Chapter, this is, and it was not intended to be a romance novel. This was intended to be a love story between a stepmother and her stepdaughter. As Jan mentioned, I became a step-parent a few years ago, and you know, there's not a lot of great books telling you how to be a step-parent, especially a step-parent when you're already a parent. It's different when you're a step-parent and you didn't have any children of your own, but I already had done the whole thing. I'd raised 2 kids and now was coming into a little 5-year-old's life. And everything I was hearing was bad. And I'm like, but it doesn't have to be bad. And so I started writing this story about this little girl, but then I realized that that story was really secondary. And the story I wanted to tell was that it is possible to fall in love again later in life. And it is just as amazing, if not more so, than falling in love when you're a kid. And I say a kid because the first time I fell in love, I was 19. And I was married to him for 23 years. So this did become a love story, and as I was about 3/4 of the way through, I realized there's a trilogy here. So book 2 is about another character who's introduced in this book. It happens to be the ex-wife of Lucas, who's mentioned in this little letter here. And then book 3 will be about a character mentioned in book 2. And the next book will be coming out on March 3rd. So it's my Starting Over series. So again, just wanting to show people that you can fall in love later in life, but it brings different things. You're coming together, you're maybe financially independent, or maybe you have health issues. You bring kids, you bring history, you bring all these other things that don't happen when you fall in love in your 20s and you're growing up together. So that's my story. Any questions? Come on in, sit down.
Hi.
Please. Oh, you're with Heather. All right,
Yes.
awesome. Yeah, so I'm really proud of it. Came out May 20th. I'm in the middle of my book too. Spending as much time with my little stepdaughter as I will. But and I should also mention, I'm a grandma. Did you see that? I'm a grandma. So my oldest child, Kate, just had her first baby 4.5 weeks ago, Theodore. And if anyone's following me on Instagram, you will see a fun picture of me posing him on my books. I don't think he was very comfortable, but he's about just not much longer on the books, but it was kind of fun. So, yeah. Okay. Any questions? Yes.
What's your writing day like?
So I write all day long. So again, with the copywriting business. So first thing I should say is I am not a morning person at all. So I don't get up till like 9 or 9:30, sometimes 10 in the morning. So all of you are like halfway through your day. And then I write for my clients, usually 4 to 5 hours during the day. So I have clients that are international, as well, and usually most of them in the U.S. So I start with my international clients, get those ones done, and then write for my others. I have certain days of the week established for certain clients. I write about dental issues. So who knew? My biggest client is a marketing firm for dental practices. So I write about tooth whitening and implants and getting a tooth pulled and all these things and how to brush your teeth. I write about dog poop pickup. That's probably my most fun client ever because I could say crap and doggy doo-doo and all that stuff. And I have a bunch of other. I have a personal finance background, so I write a lot of personal finance articles, how to budget, how to invest, how much you should have in your savings account, all that kind of stuff. And then the evenings after dinner, I will get out my laptop. My husband is a gamer, which is awesome for me because he likes to go play his game, and then I can either read or write, and that's when I work on my books, usually until late into the evening. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty fun. So
Talk a little bit about the process